Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm the Linkubus here with a Journey to Ungoro card review video. I'm going to be going over the cards that were revealed yesterday, but if you guys want to see the cards that were released before that, or if you want to see me do this in the future, make sure to let me know in the comments, or by leaving a like. Also, side note, I'm going to be going through these kind of fast. I want to keep this video pretty concise, so yeah, let's get started. Alright, so up first is my favorite card that I've seen so far, and that's Crystalline Oracle. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with a death rattle. Copy a card from your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. And yeah, the reason I like this card so much is because it's a cool effect, for one, and it's a 1/1. It doesn't have to be like a 3/5 or something like that. So yeah, I don't know if this card's going to be good enough to see play in like every priest deck, but definitely the death rattle ones for sure. Alright, so next we've got Firefly, which is a 1-mana 1/2 elemental. Card text, Battlecry, add a 1/2 elemental to your hand. And yeah, I think that the card text is definitely better than it looks, because in Hearthstone there's like mana cost and then there's also card cost, which is why Patches is so good, because you don't pay for that card. It doesn't take up a slot in your hand and you still have it. Whereas this card is like pay 1 mana but also keep this card in your hand. Is it good enough to see play? Probably not, but it's a pretty cool effect that we haven't really seen yet, so I like it. Up next, 2-mana mage spell, Flame Geyser. Card text, deal 2 damage, add a 1/2 elemental to your hand, so sort of like the Firefly. And yeah, I really like this card. It reminds me of Disciple of Cthulhu, I think it's called, in that, assuming the 1/2 elemental is 1 mana, you pay 3 mana for 2 damage and a 1/2, which is sort of like Disciple of Cthulhu. The main difference being that this is the spell, so it scales with spell damage and it'll trigger stuff like Mana Orb and stuff like that. So if Thumper Mage is a thing, this card could be like a slower but more value Arcane Blast, since that's rotating out. So maybe it'll see play, maybe not, I'm not sure. Alright, next we've got Als Rock, which is a 9-mana 5/5 neutral elemental. This card has Taunt and Battlecry, gain +5 health for each elemental you played last turn. So yeah, as far as like Shaman goes, Shaman doesn't really have a reason to play elementals right now, because Jades are just so much stronger. But I could kind of see Mage, which is the other like elemental class we've seen so far, using this late game and maybe like a Reno deck without Reno. This card's going to be played like pretty late in the game, so it's not going to be like an aggro punish card. Actually, the more I look at it, the shittier it seems, because you can't play it against aggro or mid-range. And against control, Mage's win condition is kind of just using a bunch of spells to finish you off, so I don't know, it doesn't seem that good to me, but maybe we'll see with more elementals released. Alright, so next we have what I consider to be a really powerful priest spell card called Shadow Visions. It's a 2-mana epic. It says discover a copy of a spell in your deck. And yeah, the way I've been thinking about this card is sort of like Raven Idol, which is played in Druid partially because of Fandral synergy, but also partially to get a spell. The difference is you're paying 1 more mana, but you get a spell that you intentionally put in your deck. So I think it's going to be good. I think it might see play. Maybe. We'll see. So next we've got the Stone Sentinel, which is a 7-mana Shaman 4/4 elemental. As you can see, it has Battlecry. If you played an elemental last turn, summon 2 2/3 elementals with Taunt. So yeah, the condition doesn't seem that hard to meet, but the taunts are they come kind of late. Turn 7 is kind of late to punish aggro, and against other decks, the stat distribution is pretty easy to deal with. So I would say as of right now, will it see play? No. But obviously there are a lot more cards that are going to come out, and with the right support, I think this could be a really cool 7-drop in an elemental deck, so we'll see. Here we've got Sunkeeper Tarim, which is a 6-mana 3/7 Paladin legendary with Taunt. Battlecry, set all other minions attack and health to 3. And yeah, I could definitely be wrong about this, but I think this is one of the best cards that we've seen so far. In a mid-range Paladin deck, which I hope is something that exists after the expansion, it's a decent reactionary card if your opponent has lots of big shit, but it's also really good. You can, trade your stuff, make favorable trades, and then make all of your shit 3/3s, which I think could be really, really good. And yeah, it's got a really good stat distribution, and it comes at a time in the game where it can still punish aggro if you have stuff on board, and just all around a pretty solid card, I think. So will it see play? I think yes, absolutely, if mid-range Paladin is a thing. Alright, so last up we've got Clutch Mother Zavas, and this card is like fucking insane. It's a 2-mana 2/2 Warlock Beast Legendary. Card text: whenever you discard this, give it +2/+2 and return it to your hand. So by itself, this card isn't fantastic, but it's got such insane synergy with some of the really powerful Warlock cards like Soulfire, Doomguard, and the new one, Lakari Fellhound. Unlike the other discard-friendly Warlock cards like Fist of Jaraxxus and Silverware Golem, you don't like feel bad when this card doesn't get discarded. And it has so many upsides. For instance, it'll trigger Malchezaar's Imp when it gets discarded, and potentially save cards in your hand that you want from getting discarded. So it's super, super good. Will definitely see play. And on top of all of that, it's a beast, so it has synergy with my Curator Warlock deck, which if you haven't checked out, you definitely should, because it was really, really fun. And there's going to be a link to it at the end of this video. So yeah, what do you think of the new cards? Did you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe if you want to see more like this. But yeah, that's it for me. Have a good one, and I'll catch you guys next time.